Well, we've always known that Donald Trump doesn't like defamation suits. He's been on the wrong end of at least 2 judgments related to defamation and E. Jean Carroll owing her $100 million. Now, for the second time in a month from the bully pulpit of his administration, he's going after yet another law firm that he calls conveniently a rogue law firm with absolutely no facts to support it. This one, Susman Godfrey. You may remember that Susman Godfrey was able to obtain a settlement with Fox News and Fox Corporation for $787 million in the Dominion voting machines case, in which Dominion voting machines was incessantly attacked and defamed on Fox by its on-air personnel under a made-up conspiracy theory created by Sidney Powell working for Donald Trump, that Dominion voting systems, along with Smartmatic and a Venezuelan business person, had conspired to create phony software and hardware to flip votes from Trump to Biden. None of that is true. All of that is a lie. It was known to be false. It was known to be a lie. That's what all of the summary judgment papers that the judge reviewed and in which he granted summary judgment against Fox, that was the hundreds and thousands of emails that came pouring out about Lou Dobbs and Maria Bartiromo and Tucker Carlson. It's the reason Tucker Carlson is no longer on Fox News. And now Donald Trump, to help out Rupert Murdoch and curry favor with him, is going after the firm that took $787 million off of him. This on the heels of him going after the law firm Wilkie Farr and Gallagher and successfully getting $100 million worth of tribute in the form of free service to the Trump administration from the firm Wilkie Farr and Gallagher that represented Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss and took $158 million off of Rudy Giuliani. I tie all this together the only way I know how, with truth, right here on Legal AF. Let's get into it. Donald Trump had a list of 14 law firms, and he's one by one trying to pick them off. These are the ones that either wouldn't represent him, represented his opponents, represented special counsel that were up against him, represented Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who were horribly doxxed and defamed by Rudy Giuliani and even Donald Trump, and they were awarded $150 million. They were represented for free by Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, and Susman Godfrey is a major law firm, and they represented successfully Dominion against Fox News. Fox News is big boys and girls. They entered into an arm's length transaction, a settlement agreement. They knew it was in their best interest to pay $787 million. They would have been hit with more in the billions of dollars, $2 or $3 billion, had the thing gone to trial in Delaware Chancery Court. Now, let me just put this in the proper framing here. And I'll kind of divide the world into those that bent and paid and those that decided to stand and fight. Skadden Arps, my old law firm, where I cut my teeth as a first-year and second-year associate working in litigation. They decided to bend the knee that their corporate transactional practice was more important than their ethics. And they paid $100 million worth of free legal time for really anything Donald Trump directs. That's $100 million, Skadden. Wilkie Farr and Gallagher represented Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. Their crime? They were doxxed and victimized and made to leave their homes when they were working as lowly or no paid workers in Fulton County, Georgia, counting the votes in 2020, a mother-daughter team, and they were accused on video of doing something heinous and something criminal, and it was untrue. That they were taking some sort of thumb drive, some sort of drive and sticking it into the computers, and because nobody understands how computers work over on the Trump side. And they were flipping votes from Trump to Biden when they were passing a breath mint between each other. Rudy Giuliani went on the air, constantly attacked him. It was consistent with his theory, along with Sidney Powell, that the Dominion hardware combined with the Smartmatic software combined with a Venezuelan business person had conspired to change the outcome of the election. If there was outcome determinative fraud, we know now that is untrue. And by running that on the air and knowing that it was not true, and we knew from the emails that were released by Fox News through the discovery process or released by the court through the discovery process and were filed as part of the summary judgment by Susman Godfrey on behalf of their client, Dominion Voting Systems, we know that Fox knew that this was a lie, that Sidney Powell was, in their words, a crackpot, Rudy Giuliani, a crackpot. They never liked Donald Trump, right? And they wanted to see him fail, but they felt like they had to run with this news story for ratings. And that's where the damages came in for defamation. And they decided once the summary judgments got filed with all these attachments, all these emails, it killed the career of Lou Dobbs, who died later on. It killed the career of Tucker Carlson at Fox. And it led to changes and different people stepping back at Fox News. Donald Trump goes after them. Now, I read the fact sheet. Let me stay on Susman Godfrey for a minute. There's a fact sheet. President Donald J. Trump addresses risks from Susman Godfrey. I don't see one thing listed in here that is a risk. They're just going to blackball them and try to take away their security clearances and any kind of government contracts they have. They won't effectively allow them to represent people in front of the federal government. Now, I'm not sure that's a huge part of their practice, but certainly this is an unconstitutional First Amendment violation by penalizing the viewpoint, because of their viewpoint, because of who they represent in our America, and weaponizing the Department of Justice. This is a violation of the Constitution. All Donald Trump says is that they're a rogue law firm with no citations to it. They don't even cite the Dominion settlement that they obtained. They just said we want to make sure that that the dollars spent by taxpayers don't go to contractors listen to this one, whose earnings subsidize activities not aligned with American interests. So America has an interest in the lying and cheating and big lie that Donald Trump and those around him used in 2020 that led to Jan 6th and beyond. That's what American values are, not my American values. So you've got Skadden Arps, $100 million. Wilkie Farr and Gallagher paying $100 million. To get off the ban list or to avoid being placed on it. Paul Weiss, $40 million, right? But then you've got the series of law firms, right? Wilmer Hale, Jenner and Block, Perkins Coie, who have all gotten temporary restraining orders because they've proven to judges, including the former chief judge of D.C., Beryl Howell, that this is a violation of their First Amendment rights, that you can't go after law firms because you don't like the clients that they represent or the results that they obtained. You know where this is going. Every law firm that's ever successfully sued Donald Trump, they're going to go after. And there's a lot of, he's got hundreds of lawsuits that he's lost. So we're going to get all those law firms. Then we're going to get all the prosecutors and all the attorneys general, like Letitia James, who successfully sued and obtained $450 million in a fraud case against them up on appeal. And Alvin Bragg, who got the 34 felony count conviction against Donald Trump and a separate 19 counts against his companies for tax evasion. Yeah, you see where this is going, right? And so if I know Susman Godfrey, they're not going to capitulate. They're not going to pay money and negotiate and come to the table. They're going to fight, and they're going to win. A question for the United States Supreme Court is that what are they going to do about this? Are they okay with the Stephen Millers of the world speaking for Donald Trump? I mean, I don't know who's the puppet and who's the puppet master, but Stephen Miller, the assistant chief White House chief of staff, said, we need to go after these rogue law firms who have, who are not aligned with American values. Are we going to be okay with that? The United States Supreme Court certainly shouldn't. Are they going to protect the institution of law firms and their role in society? All of them are lawyers on the Supreme Court. Most of them, except for Kagan, were judges. So is this okay with them? The constant vitriol and attack on the judiciary, on judges, the constant attack and attempting to undermine lawyers, the Department of Justice for Donald Trump doing the same thing, hollowing out the Department of Justice, firing career prosecutors who are just independent and doing their job and have been doing it for 10, 15, and 20, and 30 years. Doing the same thing at the Solicitor General's office, which represents the America's interest on appeals, and to the United States Supreme Court. We just lost the number one lawyer for 36 years who's so respected by the United States Supreme Court. He just walked out. He said, I'm done. I'm not working for John Sauer, Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer. I'm not working for Pam Bondi, who's telling me I got to compromise my ethics. I'm not doing any of that. So all these career prosecutors are leaving the Solicitor General's office, and we're worse for it. And the Supreme Court is worse for it. And the arguments there are worse for it. So you've got the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, nobody respecting. Lawyers being fired because they are their only crime is they told the truth in their filings, And now what we're watching are career politicians, career bureaucrats, if you will, career federal officials stepping up and quitting. Head of the IRS, acting head of the IRS is like, yeah, I'm not going to be a pawn in the IRS turning over law-abiding immigration financial information and whereabouts so they can go after and try to deport Americans or taxpayers. You know, I mean, I know that there's the undocumented pay billions of dollars in taxes, and now they're going to use the tax scheme to go, the tax regime to go against them. She quit. Lawyers, Department of Justice, quit. Prosecutors, quit. And look who's heading this. It is the unholy trilogy of Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, and Emil Bove. All three of them, along with John Sauer, the number 4 in the Department of Justice, those are the top 3, the number 4, top 4, all were criminal defense lawyers for Donald Trump. All were in private practice. None of them are qualified to be in the positions that they are in. Todd Blanche ordering lawyers to lie and firing them if they don't. Emil Bove doing the same thing with the FBI, doing the same thing in court. Pam Bondi telling people it's my way or the highway, and my way is instructing you to lie to align yourselves with the Trump policy. What's the Supreme Court going to do about it? I know they won't police themselves. I know they won't adopt an ethics code. I know they're okay with violating ethics on the Supreme Court itself. But what are they going to do now? Because these cases, these 3 cases I told you about, Wilmer Hale, Jenner and Block, Perkins Coy, temporary restraining orders, soon to be preliminary injunctions, putting them back in the game and taking them off the blacklist, and now joining them, Susman Godfrey. They're all going to end up at the United States Supreme Court in the next month or 2. What are they going to do then? Tell you what they should do. They should find that it violates the First Amendment. Just like Judge McFadden yesterday found the Associated Press was being brazenly having their First Amendment rights, freedom of the press, because they were being barred and banned from access points within the White House and around Donald Trump to do their job, to deliver the news to half the world's population. So judges are starting to stand up for the First Amendment and what it means, and particularly what it means for the unique profession of law. It's a profession. It's an honorable profession. It's one I've been proud to call my profession for over 35 years. And law firms like Susman Godfrey, they only obtained that settlement because of expert lawyering, because they were right on the facts, and they had Fox News and Fox Corporation dead to rights based on the internal emails they obtained. And that's how they were able to extract $787 million. Because Rupert Murdoch famously said to his general counsel, now fired, after he gave a deposition in which he effectively admitted that they were trying to pump up the ratings and they didn't care about the facts about Dominion. When they left the room, the reporting is the now fired general counsel said to Rupert Murdoch, I think that went pretty well, boss. And to which Rupert Murdoch said, if you think so, you weren't in the room with me. I don't think that went very well. And it went downhill from there. But for Donald Trump, he's just helping out friends. Rudy Giuliani, I don't know what he thinks. There is a judgment against Rudy Giuliani for $158 million. He has already turned over a couple of $1 million to Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss. Getting rid of Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, which I assume they're going to fire the clients and get rid of Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss, is not going to stop the judgment from being enforced. Another law firm will step up. The Popok firm will step up and help them enforce their judgment against Rudy Giuliani. You think it's going to stop the $787 million? It's already been paid. It's already been paid. You think it's going to stop Susman Godfrey from taking the next case against another crony friend, sycophant, bootlicker of Donald Trump? It's not going to. It depends on the firm. If the firm, here's the dividing line. I'll leave you on this. If a law firm has a huge corporate transactional practice, they don't want to blow it, and they have a small litigation practice, they don't want to blow it, then they settle with Donald Trump, right? Because they're making billions of dollars, $3, $4, $5 billions of dollars in corporate transactional work. Litigation is interesting. It's what I do for a living, but it doesn't drive most law firms. Corporate drives most law firm profits. On the other hand, the law firms that pride themselves on being having a fighting spirit and litigating and being trial lawyers and pugnacious and hard-nosed ones at that, they're not settling, they're fighting, and they're winning. I'll continue to follow it right here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the subscribe button. It really does help our pro-democracy channel build and brings you the content that you like. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.